And we are live with the Live Reality Games podcast. Back again, my name is Nathan. I'm here, as always, with the wonderful Austin.
Hello.
Austin, how are you?
I'm good, Nathan. How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm ready to talk about another episode of Survivor Boston as we get to the end of this crazy roller coaster of a journey. And with us, a special guest today from season 2, Isabella.
Yes! Hi, you guys!
Woo! Welcome. We're so excited to talk to you.
Yes.
We want hot takes.
Yes.
Hot takes.
I only ever bring hot takes. Have no cold takes. Or even lukewarm takes.
Awesome. And with us, as always, is our most recently voted out contestant. We are very sad to see him here. It is Zach. Zach, how are you?
Hey everyone, I'm doing great. How are you all?
Great, and you're wearing your accordion / is it an accordion shirt?
It is an accordion shirt, an homage to my welcome video.
There you go.
Yeah, where do you find something like that? You know, hot question of the day.
This was actually Boston Garment District for my Bostonians out there.
Woohoo!
Well, we're glad you're here. We have a lot to dig into because your game had so many twists and turns to it. At one point, I thought maybe you could really pull this out, and then it's like, then you just kept having the rug swept out from under you. Yeah. But before we get into all of that, let's rewind, and I wanted to ask how you got into Survivor Boston in the first place.
Well, it was actually fitting enough, Isabella, I'm sorry, I mirrored. I was like, it was Isabella her being on her season and being so iconic on it, her and I are on the same comedy troupe, best friends. So I was like, I want to try out for this. I want to, because I'm also such a Survivor fan. I've been watching Survivor since I was like literally 9 years old, the whole shebang, every season. I love it all. I auditioned for season 3 of Survivor Boston, and I think I tried to be what I thought Isabella was in her which was like, hey, pure chaos. Like, which, I don't know, just wasn't my vibe. I'm like, I think the second round of interviews, I was like, oh, no, I'm going to be logical about this game, which I think I was. So they found a fit for me in season 4, which I'm glad. What an iconic cast.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you kind of ended up being, I had that read that before the season, maybe that you would be more like Isabella, and then you turned out to be or like a Finn.
Entirely his own, yeah.
Like a Finn.
And then you ended up being like a Jacob Fahlberg archetype. So anyway, here we have some people in the chat. We have Charlie, yes, Isabella.
Yes.
Hi,
and Andrew saying she has nothing but hot takes.
Yes.
And Zach, you have your cheering your fans out there. Kyle says, yes, Zach, I was rooting for you.
Me
We
too.
were all rooting for
Yeah,
you.
thank you, Kyle.
I believed in you. You were the chosen one. I literally had you as my winner pick. But
Thank you for doing that for me. I needed that.
Oh, of course. I mean, like I remember when I got like announced for my season in Michigan, and I was like, okay, he's gonna pick this crazy guy as a winner pick, right? And like someone's like, awesome, you're my winner pick, and I was like, what? Oh my gosh! And so like I always like I'm like I just hope that who I pick as my winner is just awesome, and I think you proved that. So
thank you.
Very
so much.
very happy that you're my winner pick.
So I was really interested in something that you said right as you were leaving. Maybe it was your exit confessional or something. How you thought you would come into the game one way, as in being a pure chaos type player, and then you didn't turn out that you were playing that way. You didn't play as cutthroat as you thought. What were your can you tell me more about what your expectations were coming in?
Yeah,
about how you play.
I think I came in, I think in my intro interview, I talk about how the most similar player to me in Real Survivor I thought would be Todd from China, which for fans of the show, Todd from China is like the most devious you can get on that show. Like he is like pure manipulation, like put a dumb man in front of me and like watch them take the fall for it. I wanted to be like that, I think. I like came into it being like, oh, I'm going to be devious. I'm going to screw people over and I'm going to lie a shit ton because I'm good at lying. But then the way the cookie crumbled, I don't know what happened, but like I ended up on my first tribe with a lot of people that I really liked and really clicked with, which was that Core 5 alliance. I don't know, it just like as the game went on, there were people that I just really stuck to, and I got personally offended by other people's moves that I didn't think I would. Like I thought I was going to come into this being like, oh, I'm cutthroat, so like I won't care when people cross me, but like when they cross you in this game, it's like it hurts like
it's a dagger in the heart, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. And I was not expecting that at all. I'm not easily offended. And I like, and so the fact that I was like, some people were, I was like, no, I don't want to work with you out of principle. That's
been there.
We got more people in the chat. Well, Andrew said that you came in kind of like saying, you're all idiots, I hate you all.
You didn't say that in your...
Yeah, I said that as I was leaving.
Oh, as you were leaving. Okay, yes. So much less devious.
I don't actually believe that.
Just bitter.
Yeah, I didn't hate any of... Okay.
Winks.
Dustin said, season 4 was perfect for you. The whole cast fits perfect.
Yeah.
Austin chimes in, this is cursed. Not sure what is cursed exactly.
We're all cursed. It's 2021.
Kirk says, I'm so excited Zach is in here. I love his TikToks.
That reminds me, I need to follow you.
Yeah, what's your... Zach, can you tell us about your TikToks? Are you a big TikTok star?
Yes.
I mean, I just started TikToking this past summer out of boredom, like the quarantine era of it all. And started getting likes, so I kept going with it. My like POV TikTok. It means very little to me now, but
well, drop your TikTok handle so people can find you.
Okay, it's at Zach Hone. It's my name without the R at the end.
Perfect. And then we have more. We have Madeline chiming in. What a duo!
Yes, Maddie. I love you,
and
Maddie.
She's also texting you, Isabella.
Maddie.
Jacob Fallberg has some love for Zach and Isabella.
I miss him.
Yes. So much love in the chat. Keep bringing it in, y'all. Okay, so starting the game, you connected with this 5-person alliance, and on the other side of the tribe, you had Madison and Carly and Max, and kind of the person that seemed to be in the middle there was Finn, because someone was kind of targeting Finn, but you brought Finn in. Can you tell me about that Finn relationship early on, and how did you know him before the game? Is that kind of what happened? Yeah,
good question. You clocked it. Finn and I were good friends leading into this. Andrew in the chat right now, my boyfriend, is actually was like the roommate of Finn at the time. So we like had a friendship, an established friendship, but also very interestingly, like from the moment I walked in the game, I was like, oh, I love Finn, but he's gonna cross me at some point. Like he's a devious one and like such a genius, like entertaining player that I was like, I love you and let's align for now. That's what that was. Yeah, y'all had a very interesting scene together. I think it was at a party, maybe a frat party.
Yes!
How was the party? How is it to strategize at a college party? Interesting. Well, it was chaotic. Fuck house. It was at it was actually at my apartment, and we were like a party apartment. So we threw parties all the time. Of course, Finn was there at all of them, and we were just like drunk and like, what? This would be a fun confessional.
Do you ever like accidentally say something that you were like, oh, I wasn't supposed to tell you that?
Ooh, I was like catty with Finn. Like when Finn and I got together, we would be like, oh, fuck them. No.
Okay.
They're like out. They're out. So like the fact that it was him and I together, and I think, if anything, we both were saying stuff we probably shouldn't have to other players of the game. But,
okay.
So how did you see that dynamic of the tribe shaping out? I mean, obviously you voted out Madison early on, but did you see yourself firmly with that 5? Did you ever reach out to the other side?
Well, how it started shaping out was first there was that big Maddie move. Maddie is an icon in this game. Maddie Hoffman.
Yeah.
Oh my god, she was so good. I was so surprised by her off the bat. Like I knew she would be really personable, but like she was getting the strategy in a way that like I don't know. She was telling me things that like I would come to eventually a day or two later. And so I really was like, okay, well, this feels natural to kind of let Maddie step in front of me and be the big player making the decision. So that's kind of sort of the path I led. And then, so I would have voted out Anna, the first tribal, with everyone else if Maddie had not had that plan. And thank God, because Anna became my biggest ally in this game. And so, yeah, I think it started like that, and the pieces just fell into place, and Maddie and Swetha were doing a lot of the strategizing for me, and then like me and Anna could kind of just sit comfortably in this like tight ball of 5 with bigger players as the target. Like you saw everyone was worried about Swetha and Maddie's relationship, and even like Swetha and Austin's relationship, never me and Swetha or me and Maddie until Max noticed it, like proved to us that people were thinking about me and Maddie as a duo. So I was like, I have to get you out.
Although he told you because he wanted to work with you.
Yeah. Well, the way Max, Isabel, you should speak on Max. And
okay, crazy me watching this season, considering I'm an RA, and my residents at the time of this season were both Max Tedford and Anissa. Insane. I would love to know, Nathan, why on earth, quite frankly, you would ever pick Max Tedford, nothing but love, as your winner pick. Would love to know.
Okay, so first of all, I didn't have the evidence of him taking 20 minutes to do a 30-second word jumble.
Okay, fair.
And I had 1 minute of him talking, and granted, that 1 minute I saw him talking, it was very coherent, and his thoughts were put together, which I quickly learned that was a misrepresentation.
Right.
No offense to Max.
No, nothing but love for Max. I just had a lot of confusion on your pick, Nathan.
I became confused quickly. Honestly, I thought that like Max was gonna play a game that kind of more similar to what Zach ended up playing, but that didn't happen. Or like maybe like what Big H is playing. My predictions pre-game were crazy. I also put Brady final 2, so let's not look.
That was my other follow-up.
Oh my god.
Yes. But
how could I forget that Brady was the other person who watched Survivor? Hella Survivor.
Yeah.
Well, I forgot because he got voted out second, but
he had chaotic energy, and I was here for it. Look, I'm gonna
also. It. Oh my god, he was one of my favorite characters watching this back. Oh my god, him and Maddie. I was like, you two are great, and Finn. Oh my god, great television.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Kyle says Brady was robbed.
Brady was robbed, as it was written on the whiteboard.
Andrew says I'm a Maxinista. Anna said rude that you would vote her out if Maddie hadn't made her move first round.
I know. I'm sorry, Anna. You know that obviously the second I got to know you, I would never do that to you. You and I protected each other. But in that first round, I was really willing to go with whatever plan happened, because I knew if I had Survivor Super Fan labeled on my back as well as trying to make moves out of the gate, I'd be gone immediately.
And then we have Amara saying 2 of my favorite players.
Oh yeah, Amara. That's right.
Naomi shouting out TikTok icon.
Yeah.
Zach has hurt my theater kid soul so deeply, and also I love this game.
I'm sorry.
And Sabrina from
Sabrina,
the Penthouse season 3 and Big Brother Columbus season 7. Okay, Queen Isabella.
Thank you, Sabrina.
Yes, we love all this. We love all this love. Okay, so Zach, let's get into more of the game. So you vote out Madison, you vote out Max, and then you have this tribe swap, and you never end up actually going to tribal at this tribe swap. So first question about this is, how would that tribe swap would have gone? And just to remind everybody, help me, Austin, if I get this wrong, but
Okay.
you were with Anna from your original tribe and Marlon from your original tribe, and the other three were from the other tribe, which was Anissa, Big H, and Jackie.
Hallie.
Right?
Hallie and Jackie.
Hallie.
Hallie
Okay.
and Jackie.
And Jackie. Okay, so how would that vote in the tribe swap would have gone if you had lost?
That would have gone terribly. I was so thankful we did not go to tribal because, like, oh my god, me and Anna were like good allies, but like we're not talking to Marlon enough before that tribe swap, so like we knew he would flip to the other side with like the cool people like Anissa, Big H immediately. Big H wasn't on the side, but he would flip to like Anissa, old Fatia, old Katai at the drop of a hat, which apparently he wouldn't. And watching that back is something I realized, like, he maybe was more in the middle than I thought, which is kind of like a common theme for my perception of the game. I was always thinking people were more against me than they were. Like, a lot of the time, a lot of people were like, had a lot of agency, and I just didn't recognize that. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, that tribal would have gone horribly. If we had gone to tribal, it would have been me and Anna trying to pull in Marlon, and then like hopefully shooting for Anissa just on the premise of she's a big threat in this game, which at that time not a lot of people were believing. So it would have been, I think, me or Anna going home. And because Anissa had expressed like distaste with me and like distrustfulness of me even at that point, I think she would have come out on top had we had to go to tribal our side.
Speaking of power in the game, one of the ways you can get power is through the Temple of Risk, but we didn't see playing a lot of them pre-merged. What was behind your choice to kind of avoid the Temple of Risk?
Well, I think it was because I did the word search one, and I did the word search one, and it was like middle of the road.
You were one. No, you were second.
Yeah, Brady won it.
I literally sitting there for 5 minutes. I was like, I got last place. How could any? And then
And then Max rolls along.
So I did that one, and then I did the other one. I forget what it was. Oh, questions about the game, where Anissa and Big H just kept cutting my life. So I got last in that challenge, and then had to sit out of the immunity challenge, the pacer test immunity challenge. And that was the worst one for me to sit out during. I am a runner. I was like, if there's any challenge I can do in this game, any challenge at all, it's the one that is just running and like doesn't require any actual physical force or effort or anything. So I was pissed about that. And I think that just scared me off from it. I never wanted to do the challenge again. And I don't know. They were never presented at a time that I thought I was vulnerable. Like, they kind of stopped happening once I would have needed them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have more people in the chat. Swatha is here. Hi, Zach. I love you.
Hi, Swatha. I love you. Oh my god.
Brian Roke. So much love to both of these humans.
Oh my god. Hi, Brian.
Yeah, so many alum in the chat.
Yeah, it's
Love to see it.
We love to see it.
So then you make it to the merge, and we see you have a keen eye for something, namely a clue on the computer.
Yes.
Hats off to you on finding that. Seriously.
Thank you. That felt huge, and I was so mad that Anissa, at one point, not knowing, of course, how I came into that clue and the idol, she was like, he doesn't deserve that idol. Girl, I'm the only one that deserved that idol, because I was the only Survivor superfan left in the game, the only one that knew a clue came with the merge package, the only one who looked for it, even after I was in the back of everyone. I was in the back of the crowd. And I was like, oh shit, Anissa's front row. She's searching. She's going to find whatever is there. And then lo and behold, in tiny little text, it said check stickies. I checked stickies, the idol in the basement, colonial basement, which is one of the residence halls at Emerson. That was all I needed. I deleted the sticky note. And immediately after that challenge, I went and just searched until I found it. It was like under a trash can.
Yeah, so you found it, which is awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It was a big deal, especially for this game.
Yeah.
And so at that merge episode, I'm curious, like, where did you think the votes were for you in the merge? Did you have a plan for how you were going to be on the right side of the numbers?
Okay, so merge happens and old Fatia was numbers advantage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think I was feeling really comfortable. I was glad to be back with all 5 core 5 alliance, and then the padding that all of the people within this 5's relationships with other people brought in, like, made me just feel very comfortable. I think after merge, I started talking to Jackie a bit with Anna, but the real thing is what was I saying? I lost my train of thought. I was talking about, what was I talking about? Oh well, bye.
You're saying you felt comfortable with the numbers because you had your 5 and you thought your relationships would hold?
Right. I started reading Maddie's comment and then got...
Yeah, so did I, and that's why
Yeah, well, let's go ahead and read it then. Maddie said, I was the only superfan left. Yes, King. None of the rest of us were smart enough to look for an idol or even suspect one.
Yeah.
Love it.
Thank
Now
you for
it's
your support, Maddie.
The weirdest places you'd think, and like where it says check stickies, it's like what? So yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was running on pure adrenaline. I had never even heard of the word stickies or what stickies were before this. Like, I just thank God the desktop was clean. I didn't have to search very far, and then it saw it as like an application in the bottom.
Do they just leave laptops around with idol clues normally? Is that like the normal way of dispensing idol clues in College Survivor?
I've never seen that to my recollection.
Yeah, it's
it's creative. Like, props to whoever came up with that. Like
ours from our season, from the merge episode, which obviously I didn't pick up on because I'd never seen an episode of Survivor. Still have not. Other than Survivor Boston, yes. But it was on the computer screen with the message that was like, "Congrats, everyone! Have a donut." It was like a clue within that message, so it was like on the computer technically, but it was like within that weirdly worded cryptic message.
Do Jacob and Charlie just need a day off? Is that why they're never like delivering the merge news?
Well, I think honestly,
they could, and that's what cued me in to be like, oh, there's definitely something here, because I was like, it's fish. Why wouldn't they just tell us?
Yeah, you can like tell when they're like something just seems off, and it's like that point where you're just like, we're merging, aren't we?
Yeah,
right.
It's usually if you smell food.
Oh, sorry. It's unbelievable, like, just like to go without saying that Charlie and Jacob like produced this show, but also for every single person that played this show while conducting an entire semester at college. Like, it is so underrated how amazing everyone is for like strategizing and doing all of this while taking a full course load and all the extracurriculars that every single social butterfly did on this show. It's unbelievable.
Like, a lot of you guys are like, you're doing like shows.
Yeah, everyone's in fraternity, comedy.
I thankfully didn't have to deal with that. Like, but I knew people on my seats like dropped classes.
Yeah, insane.
And it's like, I can't say enough just how crazy of a juggling act it is.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's unbelievable.
If you're not willing to drop a class for Survivor Boston, are you really playing to win?
Right, exactly.
You're not. And the answer is you're not.
Zach, did you make it through all your classes?
I did. I was struggling towards the end. I was like, especially when like I started having to be involved in like nearly half the conversations that were occurring. Like it's tough. You get so busy, and it's difficult.
That's fair. Isabella, how about you? How was your balancing act?
It was hard and it was bad. And I think you can see it as in the descent of my season. There's one episode right before Thanksgiving break where I'm wearing like 3 turtlenecks and I have no makeup and I look hideous. And I'm like, oh my God, girl. I remember specifically going to ECAPS, which was Emerson's like inner like therapy, and being like, I'm losing my mind. I have no time. I don't eat. I don't sleep. And in addition to all this, I'm always thinking about Survivor. Strategizing. Yes, it was insane. It was insane.
Yeah.
I was like with her the entire time. That's why I was so scared to do it. Like at first, especially get far, because like Isabella, oh my God, at that time, it like Survivor was always like she was always. Oh, hold on. I need to put out this like in a way that I never got to that level. Like there were a lot of people I was not talking to. I can't even imagine the stress of that.
Like every 2 seconds, I was like, hold on, you guys. Somebody just said something nasty to me to Spencer. I have to destroy them. I was just like, literally playing a game. But the therapist was like, I think you need to quit this game. And I think you need to quit this game. Goodbye. I couldn't quit. But I survived, thank God.
Yeah.
Never again.
Zach, who were you not talking to during the game?
Great question. A lot of people. Oops. I didn't talk at all to Anissa until my last episode you saw, which I now, watching that back, wish I didn't, of course. I just looked a fool. At that point in time, I did not know that Anissa and Big H were such a power duo. I didn't know that at all. That is like iconic on their part, I think. That no one clocked that. And like I don't know, they were just like they put their guards in the right ways, and that like apparently people trusted them. I never trusted either of them, but like they were trust them, and yeah, I clocked that. So like watching that conversation back, where I'm pretty sure I probably like tried to throw out Big H's name before she was like Marlon. Like I was going in like an idiot. Like no way you could go into a conversation with Anissa at this point in game, me, and then throw out her biggest ally, and then expect not to die from it. And for that, she is an icon. Yeah.
So I need some clarification here, and without getting into spoilers, so basically from everyone who has left the game, they've said that Big H and Anissa, they had no idea that they were working together. But between the two, it seems that like Anissa is the one getting for all of the credit. So I'm worried about Big H's end game. Like, I guess my question is, what was your perception of Big H as a player in the game? Oh no, did we lose Zach?
No.
His face looks a little pixelated.
Uh-oh. I'm like, let me sing a song, everyone.
Isabella, how about you? Okay, so about the Big H and Anissa relationship, what is it like to keep an alliance secret in the game? How do you manage that?
That was my favorite part of the game. I think that Anissa and Big H do a wonderful job as I'm watching. I think they're doing a great job. I think they're a little too cocky for my liking. I think they're amazing players, but I think something that Spencer and I, even though we were like, we're doing great, you can't get carried away with yourself and be so amazed. Oh, we lost Zach.
Yeah, he'll
so amazed with yourself. You have to be also like, anything could happen at any time. Like you have to have a little bit of humility that I think keeps you going. However, yes, amazing. They're keeping it secret. They aren't having the fun that Spencer and I had. We had fun. We were like throwing each other under the bus, left, right. I was like, God, you guys, I really think Spencer's super shady. I don't trust him. Like that's the reality TV element that I think, yes, may not be the Survivor game brilliant play, but I think is the fun of manipulating everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I get straight up Sarah Lacina vibes from Anissa. Like, Sarah Lacina from Survivor Game Changers.
Me not knowing who that is. I'm like,
Welcome back, Zach.
Hi, Zach.
We filibustered for 3 minutes without you.
Hi.
So,
Oh,
Zach,
God. I'm
so
sorry.
bring us back. Do you draw connections between Anissa and Sarah Lucina?
Ooh, yes, absolutely. I think they're both like very strong-willed players, absolutely, and play a good loyalty game where they can get away with lying. Like Sarah Lucina definitely lied, but like I think of her in my mind as a loyal player. So
Right.
So how did
I
you
was
view
really
Big?
surprised.
Sorry.
Okay. I was so surprised at like how many times Anissa would go into a conversation with like Marlon or with Big H and throw Marlon or Big H kind of under the bus a little bit, not like a lot, but just enough to make like where Big H is saying, like, I think Marlon might be closer with Anissa than he is with me, or Marlon is kind of like maybe again more loyal to Anissa, but then like Big H is loyal to Anissa, Anissa is loyal to Big H, and it just creates this really interesting dynamic. And so it reminded me a lot of Sarah Lucina and how she, in both like Game Changers and Winners of War, just how she was able to not only navigate just like friendship, but the manipulation aspect of using those friendships to get what she needs to get done. And so it's really a fascinating sort of thing. And not only that, but to keep that partnership with Big H secret. Like we see her in the challenge this episode, she and Big H are working together, but they're only doing it when no one else is in the room, which was genius. And it's like in like when it's a word, it's like Sarah and Tony are like joined at the hip, right? Here, y'all didn't see it, which is like crazy to me, but it also makes perfect sense because they're masking it and hiding it in plain sight so well. Is that like kind of what you were like the perception you're getting like after you're watching this is like, how did we not see this?
Well, actually, the entire time was Anissa's like number one enemy. Enemy number one. I was infuriated actually during the challenge where we were all like picking each other for the survey. Remember that one?
Yeah.
An infuriating challenge for me, who was voted like all the bad things, including the person who thinks they're running this game but actually isn't.
That one's never fun to get.
That one, I was infuriated because of the reaction to it, because I put up my own name and I was like, I know you guys think that I'm running the game, but I know that I'm at the bottom. And the reaction to that was like, oh, Zach's a big target. You guys, look, everyone voted as Zach as like the like arrogant one, like he's the target.
Boy.
When I'm like, who did we all just vote for as the most like the biggest threat?
Yeah.
Anissa. And I also, the other thing, Anissa's idol lie, the lie about her legacy idol being one that you could play after 2 votes.
You clocked that hard.
Yeah!
Immediately.
Like,
that is such a false thing. And it infuriated me because as a fan of the game, I was like, oh, it like, that's not even a thing in my mind because I know she's lying about it. But because everyone else believed her, I had to play the game like that.
Right.
Real.
Yeah, it's like you have to figure out, okay, how much can I use my knowledge and be like, yo, this is not a thing that happens. If it actually is, then that's crazy. But like, I mean, I tried something similar where it was like, I've never seen this happen before, so I'm going to try to pass it off as like, it's real when I know full well it's likely not, and they might or might not buy it.
Right.
So I think it's like a good idea, but I think again, and you see it worked, except for you. And I think the problem was you just like weren't able to sway enough people that it wasn't fully as powerful or it was like as it was.
And even in the back of my mind, I was like, what if we just did something crazy production-wise this season, and then I look like an idiot because I told everyone, don't worry, vote Anissa out, and she plays it or whatever. Yeah. So yeah, the paranoia, it takes over.
Yeah,
another
I love
Winners
the
of War
lie.
parallel.
I love the idea of lying about it and selling that you have a super idol or a Tyler Perry idol.
Yeah.
I don't love that she like played it off as if it's worse than an idol because it just
Yeah.
blatantly
I was
wasn't
like-
true,
And you were like,
and
it's
it undercuts the
better.
lie.
Yeah,
don't
exactly.
make yourself more of a threat.
That was the fishiest thing. That's why I knew whatever it was, she wasn't telling us the truth, but I didn't know what it was because I knew she got something. So I was like, better play, I guess, safe than sorry. But in the end, I ended up playing both.
Yeah.
Andrew says that genius move was criminally undermined by editing. Justice.
Thank you.
And Rachel says, I hope the jury grills
grills
Anissa.
Anissa.
Not a
I
fan.
think it's gonna be really interesting whoever makes final two. Like
Mhm.
any configuration we end up with, how the jury is gonna react and what the final two is gonna have to say to try to sway people. Because I mean, with a lot of the people, Maddie goes out by that crazy flipping catastrophe. Finn's a unanimous vote. Swatha robbed, and we'll talk about that.
Wait, they're
And-
robbed.
And, like Carly and like you have such a great jury, and I think it's gonna be really interesting to see how y'all kind of coalesce and figure out who we're gonna vote for.
Yeah, Austin says, Swatha's wondering why you aren't talking about her more. Well, here it is. Swatha
right.
says, I'm like, Core 5
Core
would
5 would
die,
die.
except Core 5
Core
did
5
die.
Yeah.
Yup.
It's like it's almost like the comeuppance you want as a viewer. You're like, yeah, fuck
Yeah.
you guys. You were so comfortable in the beginning. Like, get out of here one by one. But like from our perspective, we're like the ones getting screwed by
Yeah.
like the powerful people in the game. I still think that. I still think that there were people who had a lot more power than us. And I think almost the positioning of us as the like core 5 was if anything, it probably hurt all of us, absolutely. But we
Yeah.
leaned into it because we were like, we're safe. I don't know.
Oh yeah. There's safety in numbers, but it's also a dangerous thing. Like on my season, like when you're so branded as being loyal to a group of people, then it's kind of like where you were saying, like, I'm not going to talk to these people because like I know they are not going to work with me because we are
Right.
just on opposite sides of the thing. And so it's like, yeah, there are people I'm not going to talk to because I know anything I say to them will come across as disingenuous, and I know anything they say to me won't matter.
Yeah.
As much as I might like to, it just doesn't make any sense for either of us to trust each other. And so
Right.
it's such an interesting thing when you have this core 5, and then that core 5 kind of blows up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's,
Go
go
for
ahead,
it.
Zach.
I was just gonna say, no, you take the next thought. Yeah.
Okay, so I was gonna say, it's interesting when you're like trying to work across the aisle, so to speak, because yeah, anything you say can and will be used against you in the game of Survivor, and but at the same time, in order to get people who aren't on your side, you have to talk to them. You have to have some
Yeah.
kind of relationship with them. You going to Anissa at the end of the game, your last round, is it's a Hail Mary that's destined to fail because you have.
Right.
And I don't know what the solution is, just asking people to grab brunch with you on the weekends for funsies and not
Yeah.
even talking about Survivor. Maybe that's the move.
Right.
But can you do that in Survivor Boston? I don't know.
And that's the tough part. I think I was going to say, like, there were a lot of conversations that happened like that where I left the conversation being like, we didn't have a relationship built as a foundation for what we just talked, which was strategy. So nothing. The conversation's null. It meant nothing. I had a conversation like that with Marlon. I had a combo like that with Anissa at the end. Jackie and Big H, when I talked to them together, which this ties back to your question about final two. The final two, it being a final two, that's crazy. And the fact that they were apparently saying it for a while and none of us noticed.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
That was
But I in that conversation with Big H and Jackie, which I think another thing rewatching, I didn't realize how much Jackie was like kind of a free agent. I thought she was entirely like in the grasp of Anissa and only like weirdly randomly voted with Anna that one week because Anna had talked to her. So I wish I knew that more in the game, like how much Jackie could have been on my side. I know they said it.
Listen to production.
Jacob said that they mentioned the final two so many times, well, twice.
Well, it's hard. Especially I was not paying attention after either of the tribals you said that at. My mind was like, I am effed, and that's it. But yeah, in that conversation with Big H and Jackie, the thing I was trying to do was convince them that, like, in this final two situation, if either of them have a chance of winning in a final two, they have to bring someone that the jury will not like vote the F out of, right, because they got to the final. And while I knew in the back of my mind all my old Fatia people would have my back if I somehow made it to final two, they would, like, I think all of my old alliance I would vote for me. Even though I knew that, I was trying to play as if, like, look at the jury, like, I am at the bottom. No one respects my game anymore. I've made all these enormous moves that just blow up and end up hurting me. No one is voting for me in the end of this game. Take me further. At least consider me a week longer as someone you could bring to the end, because in that final three, the winner of the competition gets to choose who they sit next to, which is a very dangerous thing for, I think, a lot of people in this final five. And so it'll be very interesting to watch that unfold, I think.
Yeah, I think you were making so many good points there. And I think, like, not only is this such a fluid final five with so many different ways an Unity winner could pick who they're going to pick. And I think you were doing a good job at saying, like, hey, like, Marlon's kind of a wild card. Who's he going to pick? Or, like, Holly is kind of, or we're going to use the term, kind of the GOAT here. We love Holly, but, like, are people going to vote for her over any of us? And it's like, that's why I always say, like, playing as the GOAT and trying to pass yourself off as a GOAT is one thing, right? And that can be hard to do. And I think you were doing a really good job of at least trying to get there, because I do think, yeah, had you been able to play that off and get to the end, you would have had it locked up. But, like, when you have someone who can take your spot away from you and trying to kind of threaten people with that, like, hey, don't let this person, like, be chosen or choose someone who's not you, right?
Exactly.
So I think it's such a dangerous thing with the final two. With the final three, you have a little more leeway.
Right.
But, yeah.
But going back to the Swatha vote, Zach, you made yourself too much of a contender to disappear after that. And I want to ask you, what during that vote you decided to whip out your idol.
First, you whipped out your keys.
You whipped out your keys
I
first.
love that.
I whipped out my keys and then, like, a random note and then the idol. Yeah, that was okay. So the thought process behind the Swatha, me being crazy, pulling out my idol before votes had been read, because in my mind, I was at this point only aligned with Swatha and Anna. While we had had conversations with Marlon, Carly, and Jackie as well, and I guess someone had talked to Hallie too. I don't know. I don't actually know for sure. But in my mind, I was like, Anna and Swatha are the only people that will be voting with me tonight. Everyone else will be voting for me, and I'd have to use my idol. But they also are a big enough group that they could have split it, and I don't want to just waste my idol and then have one of my allies go home anyway. So I pulled the idol out.
Right.
No one voted for me. And so it did the trick in that regard, but I did not give them enough credit that they would, like, think to just lean over and say Swatha. I thought they would think it's against the rules, which I know it's not, but, like, I literally thought they would think it was against the rules to, like, lean over and whisper Swatha. And I also knew in the back of my mind that she had just snagged the idol, so I wasn't sure if she was going to play it for herself. Like, just such a mess that, like, when the nail hit in the coffin, like the last vote for Swatha was red, I was just, you see my head in my hands, my face red AF, like I was uncomfortable so often in these tribal councils. Like that's the thing, I'm not playing big moves just to like be a spectacle. I hate attention in that regard. Like I was so uncomfortable every single time. Like I would make a move and then Anissa was like, why did you do that? Anissa, Anna, why would he give you that if he didn't trust you, etc. I would get so flushed at these, and then more and more my strategy, I was like, it just has to become that I'm a big idiot. That's the only way I get further individually. Because again, I wasn't trusting those relationships that seemed more rocky than they might have been.
Nathan,
Mm-hmm.
if I will, in a prior episode of this exact podcast, I believe in reference to said Swatha vote out, you did to refer to my dear close friend Zach as an idiot. I would like to give you an opportunity to clarify and or apologize to a friend in regard to such statement.
Don't have to apologize.
Oh, I won't apologize for what I said. I stand by what I said.
Nathan, not sick of you.
No, I won't apologize because, okay, I do think it was a boneheaded move because I think you could have really done something here. And now knowing that you actually knew about Swatha's idol, I think you just had to play your idol at that tribal.
Yeah.
I think.
I do agree.
And
not tell anyone, you would have been.
We're preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
Right. And again, the issue there was just...
Okay, Swatha said, Nathan, you called me and Zach the idol idiots. Honestly, I think I've called the majority of the core 5 idol idiots. So
at least we were getting them. At least we were getting them not lying. No, it was such an idiot move. Like watching it back, I was like, obviously I should have just kept it secret, played it, got who we wanted home, and then the entire power dynamic would have shifted. But in my mind, I did not have the allies that I might have had with that power shift. In my mind, they were never coming over from the other side. So I think, again, me being paranoid was a downfall. You're not wrong for calling that an idiot move. But
not an idiot player.
No.
I stand by that. I think that's something that exists. But what I was really interested in is you and Anna were really looking to conserve that idol.
Yes.
And I think that was something I thought was really interesting because, I mean, if you have an idol, as soon as you use it, you are a threat. Because you have it, right?
Right.
And you used it and you save yourself or you save someone else. And I think had you played it, I don't know. I wonder what you guys think. Do you think you would have been more or less of a threat than you think you were?
I think if I had played it correctly, I would have been a more of a threat. And correctly being if I played it on myself.
And then I assume Carly goes home then?
What'd you say?
I assume Carly goes home then? With the votes, you guys, I'm pretty sure you guys voted for Carly there, right?
Yeah.
That was Carly. Which, dumb, again, like, if we had thought it out before and we're like, we are using this idol to make a big move tonight, we would have used it and voted out Anissa.
Right.
And so I think and then watching it back, I'm like so mad at myself because like leading up to Final Tribal, like we're in the same exact clothes. I was like, I remember that being a good 10 minutes before Tribal, this conversation between me and Anna, where we were like, we can't not have the idol. Like we're screwed if we don't have this idol. And then so all that mess happened.
So Isabella, how do you handle like being a really visible out there player, because Zach became that? How do you manage a threat level to where they don't just vote you out, but you can reverse that momentum?
I think that's a great question, Nathan, and I thank you for that. I think that Zach and I were coming from very different angles. Zach comes across as a very smart person, and like that is no mistake. Like, yes, he's a big personality, but I think it makes people even more nervous knowing that there's like a thought behind it. A strategy I use both within this game and my real life is that I can very easily and ever present tap into a bit of an airheadedness where no one assumes anything of me whatsoever. And that was a wonderful thing to be like, hi, cameras. And then behind the scenes be like, totally. And just like, when I play dumb, people believe it. When Zach plays dumb, they don't believe it because he is so clearly so brilliant. And that's just, luck of the draw. Am I right, Zach? Sorry.
Well, I think there's something there. You want to play into the narratives that are believable.
Right, right.
And it's just not believable that you didn't have a winning game at the end.
Right.
And so at some point you should have just said, you know what, keep me because I'm a threat and you can vote me out at Final 4 or 3 because you have to vote me out at Final 4 or 3 and hope you can just, win challenges to the end or something changes.
Totally.
We have Anna said I was nice to her. I did dig into her move as well. But Austin said I was a fan of him. That's true, but you also didn't make a boneheaded move, Austin. So I'm gonna call it like I see it. So after the Swatha vote, we do have the Carly vote, and for some reason, Anissa and Big H decide to flip on Carly at that point. Did you see that as just like getting through one more day, or did you see a bigger opportunity there?
I'm sorry, you guys are breaking up a little bit, so I didn't. But the like Carly vote, and did we see something bigger? The fact that all of us voted for Carly.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, and I think that was another instance of us being like, "Oh, Carly is under their wing." I think the Carly vote was good in that the Carly vote was good in that she was going to be more loyal to them in a further down the road situation than she ever would be to old Fatia. Rightfully, we screwed her over, right? Her and Max, and like Marlon was the only one to come out of it alive. So I think she smartly switched sides and they hadn't realized that. I think like Big H, Jackie, Anissa, they hadn't realized that like Jackie, like Carly and Marlon were theirs. Like they were their votes, and I don't think they realized that. And so they were like, okay, an easy vote where we vote out old Fatia, absolutely. But in our minds, Carly was not old Fatia anymore.
Did you ever think to use that information and bring it to Carly and really flip things on its head?
Wait, could you say that one more time?
Did you ever think to bring the information to Carly and try to bring her in as a number?
Again, I didn't think to. And I think because she was kind of like with Finn, and then Finn had turned on our alliance, I in my mind was like, Carly kind of led Finn to that. And
we lost Zach again. Okay.
No.
Zach has been voted out of the StreamYard.
Never.
But that's
Nathan,
okay.
What is your refrigerator decorated like a Game Boy behind you?
It is decorated like a Game Boy.
That is incredible. Wow. Did you do
thank
that
you.
yourself?
I bought the magnets and put them
Very
on the
nice.
fridge. I did
Very
draw the Game Boy logo in though.
Oh, very
Yeah.
nice. Very nice.
Yeah, freehand.
Yeah.
So-
Wow. Very talented.
Yeah, I can write letters. Zach, welcome back. So, yeah. So, moving on from the Carly vote, unless you have something else to say there.
not really, other than, sorry, literally the fire alarm now going on.
Oh my God.
The Carly vote, I think we had potential to do something there. We being like me and Anna, and we just didn't. We didn't when we should have. Like, we should have, if we had roped in Carly, Carly would have brought with her Marlon. And then we would have felt more emboldened to be like, Hallie, we have the numbers. And Hallie, who's already kind of like hating the fact that she's not in control at all. And she senses the fact that she's a goat, but she doesn't like know. I don't think she knows enough about Survivor to know how to get herself out of being the goat. But if we had given her that like extended hand to be like, hey, come with us, you won't be a goat, she would still be one. But like, if we had extended that hand for her to like make a power move in the game, I think we would have had her on lock. So yeah, another thing. But yeah, Anna's saying in the comments, Carly would have never trusted us though. There was no way, which I do kind of agree with. Like, after we had voted out Max without telling her, like, she was literally crying at Tribal. Like, she was so hurt by that. I was like, there was no way in my mind that we were getting her back.
Yeah.
I didn't realize she was crying at Tribal. Was there a lot of tears from Tribal? Like, was it that deep cut?
She was crying at the Max. She wasn't crying. She like teared up when Max was going home, is what I mean. That vote where we screwed him over.
Well,
it becomes personal. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, man, I remember crying at Tribals. I mean, I remember there being lots of emotions at Tribals I was at.
Yeah.
To be honest.
And yeah, even watching, it's hard to not take it personally. Anissa, I know, just commented, but like, hi Anissa. Like, when I'm watching Anissa like speak to Zach, and I'm like, God, she doesn't trust him, I get so mad. I'm like, be nice to my friend. When like, obviously, if I was like in her position, of course she's not gonna trust him or move on with him. But I was like, this evil woman.
LOL.
It's personal.
Yeah, Andrew also cried when Max went home. So going back just a touch, to Anissa said, of course Zach was one of my targets. No hard feelings. He was just the only one who clocked my idol lie. You got that rogue vote at the merge. You got the rogue vote, Zach.
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever figure out who it was?
Well, if you remember, the following week, or no, it was actually far down the road, I recalled Anissa counting on her fingers at that challenge. And then when she, to me, was like, oh, did your idol have to be activated immediately after I pulled it out? I was like, oh, so yours had to be activated. And so put the 2 and 2 together, and I had known that she, in order to activate that, had to vote in the minority. But I thought that she did successfully. I didn't know she had to in the first part of the tie and after the tie. So in my mind, she activated the idol and she just had it.
Okay, yeah. Then we get to Anna and you being just left in the minority. There's Jackie maybe on your side, but on the other side you have Anissa, Big H, Hallie, and Marlon. And this is where you win immunity, the eating challenge. How did the duck egg taste? The preserved duck egg.
That was the nastiest thing I have ever experienced in my life. And Isabella can actually attest, because I went to her dorm room immediately after winning this challenge because I was so excited.
Yes. Filled with adrenaline.
Filled with adrenaline, and then peed out of my butt into her toilet. So I'm not even kidding. This gave me immediate trouble.
Yeah.
Ew.
I mean, I stuffed my face with candy corn. I probably would have done a worse job with duck egg. So
I knew I had to win. I was like, I'm such a picky eater too. I like obviously hated that challenge, but like literally you saw them all in the back like rooting against me.
Oh yeah.
Like, only Anna was rooting for me, and they were all rooting for Jackie, which was another thing in my mind that was like, oh, Jackie's not with me if they're really like needing her to win this that bad against me or whatever. And so, yeah, I knew I had to win. And then when I did, I felt really good, but also like terrified because we didn't know what we were doing at Tribal, even though we technically could have both just had immunity, me and Anna.
Yeah, I mean, smart. Yeah. You pick up on the warning signs and like all of that and be like, wait, why are they cheering for her? Right. I think, those are things that are so easy to miss. And so for you to pick up on that is really well done on your part, especially in all the craziness of an eating challenge. So, like, I mean, and they paired. I want to know if those pairings in like the second round were random or what, because you versus Anna was just like heart wrenching to be like, oh no, it's probably random, but like, man, that must have not been a fun experience.
Yeah, not fun in the slightest for anyone. I think there was like a little part in the beginning, right before the challenge, where I explained that I was like super hungover as well.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
That was not a lie. I like fully was hurting during the sardine challenge part. But
Did that help or hinder you?
What'd you say?
Did that help or hinder you being hungover?
I think, I mean, in the end, it might have helped me, but they didn't show as much as I thought they would, but like, I was throwing it up into my mouth and then re-swallowing it during the pickle.
Oh my god.
Yeah, okay.
Charlie clarified, eating challenge pairs were random.
Were.
Sweet. So I do have a question about the following immunity challenge. So on this latest episode, we see this counting challenge, which is a Survivor classic where people run and count sets of items and then come back and like put them in a combination or like add them up. This challenge went on forever. What in the world was going on? What was so hard about it? Because Zach, from what we were seeing, it looked like y'all are terrible at counting.
It looks like that. And like, I swear during this challenge, while this challenge was happening, we all were like literally like, no, they must be wrong. We have recounted these 100 times. The producers are wrong. That like they don't have the right number, which I'm sure of course they did, but like it was embarrassing. It was also after like another like immediately after a really another difficult tribal, the one for me where I was like, okay, well, now I've lost Anna and I've also lost the idol that she went home with. And also I literally in my mind, okay, this is a fun little tidbit. And Anna might not know this, but if she's still in the chat, this is for you. Anna, so I was in my mind already scheming to be like, oh no, Anna had given me back the idol before Tribal Council because she didn't like pull it out or anything during Tribal. So in my mind, I was like, no, she gave it back to me. She was just telling you she still had it or whatever, which would have been genius.
Yeah,
I would have
that was effed.
the idol.
That was absolutely effed of Anna.
And then Anna, like, of course, not knowing at all that I was like thinking that, like, walked back into the room and was like going home with some jewelry, which I would have done too. And then I was like, damn it. So after all of that happening, I was like, I have to win. I actually have to win this immunity challenge or I'm going home. So I think that stress also made it difficult. But it was crazy that like, wait, what is this, Anissa?
Okay, Anissa said, Nathan, we go to Emerson, which is why we can't count.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Not the math college.
Yeah, I did not take a single math class in college. Maybe that has something to do
Anna
with it.
said she's sorry. Yeah, there you go.
No, you did not ruin everything. Oh my God. Anna, no, I would have lasted one more week and then been even more of a threat because I didn't play it. And they were like, oh, you didn't have it. And then I would have gone home anyway.
Sorry I said it was effed, Anna. I didn't mean it.
No, I think you could have turned it around at that point. You could have had Jackie and forced a tie.
Maybe.
Yeah, when I was watching, I always thought Jackie was closer to you guys than Katai, and maybe I was just missing something. But I mean, and she seemed like she was very much in the middle of things, to her credit. But like, I always thought like there's a chance she could go back with Zach and Anna, maybe. And so, what was kind of your perspective on that? Was she always like a little more leaning Katai, or do you think like, you know, there's a chance that we can probably work something out?
I think Jackie did enough to let us know that she was what was I saying? Jackie knew enough. I think Jackie gave us enough to cue us in that she was on our side or could have been. But I don't know what about it. We just like didn't trust it because like the other side had been so powerful and controlling ever since merge that like we were like in our minds they had their hands on everything.
I got you.
Old Katai, and I think that was again, ultimately our downfall. We were just like paranoid about things that we shouldn't have been, which is credit to the game that they were playing, you know, like that's credit to like the domination style, the kind of like coach-esque, like, follow me, my children, let's all go in a group and huddle our way to the end.
Yeah.
It has a lot of power in the game, not only because you have the safety in numbers, but because everyone else is going to look at that and be like, that is an impenetrable force.
Right.
Yeah, I see it like if you had gotten her to vote with you, said you're playing your idol no matter what, or Anna's playing her idol no matter what, and let's vote for Anissa, either force her to play her idol or flush it out of the game, or get her out of the game. I think she would have gone with you. I mean, I wasn't there, but it seemed like that could have really changed the course of the game if you had made a final 3 with her right there.
Yeah. Final 3 with Jackie and Anna, you mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I think we were not convincing enough to Jackie in that, only because there were so many old Fatia on the jury. I think Jackie was smart enough to know that she could like take us further and trust us further, but I don't think would take us to the end. And Jackie at this point is a huge threat. She's been like bubbling under the surface, playing the middle perfectly. I was one of the only people to vote when it was like, who's been playing the middle in the challenge where we lifted up names. I was the only one to say Jackie. I'm pretty sure. Maybe if you like 1 or 2 other people said Jackie, but then Jackie was the answer. And so it's like she was even within that game being like dissuading with like people were like, well, I think Jackie's playing the middle, but I don't think everyone thinks Jackie's playing the middle. Like it's this meta geniusness. I think her game's really good at this point.
Yeah, I'm just consistently floored every week by just like, how are people not targeting Jackie more than like, I think like Anissa's kind of brought it up, I think, but just like, yeah, and it is so hard to play the middle as well as Jackie's playing the middle, to where both sides think they have you. And the trick is not pissing off the side that you don't pick. And so I think the fact that you have to like balance that is like, Jackie's kind of like, I need to make my move. I need to figure out when to make my move, right? Because if you make your move too early, you pretty much, in some cases, will walk off working with half of the game that's left. But if you make it too late, is it enough? So you're trying to find that sweet spot. And so it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But yeah, really, really cool stuff to see.
So we have to talk about what happened at Tribal this last episode, because it seemed like it was going to be a straightforward vote, one way or another. And then Anissa comes into play, which of course she does, and decides to give her immunity necklace to Marlon, and then play her legacy advantage on herself. What was going through your mind when this happened?
I thought that was very interesting. I went into that tribal council knowing I was going home. I don't know if I knew she was handing the immunity to Marlon, but I knew I was going home. There's like a clip in the show that I remember. I was in the bathroom right before this tribal, all of them out kikiing and like outside of tribal council. And then as I walked up, it fell silent. And so I walked straight to the bathroom and then to my phone was like, I'm going home. So I thought it was interesting and weird that Anissa played such a big move out of that, when in my mind I was going home no matter what. And I think it was because she really wanted to make it seem like her move. And it was gonna be her move anyway. Like, she was the one who had it out for me from day one because I lied to her about this idol, which that's an issue I have with the editing. Like, the editing makes it seem like Anissa hates me personally, which she might have, but the editing, like, it makes it seem like she hates my guts. So I don't know about that. I don't know the truth, but I think that move was a little like, coming from me, I'm no one to speak, but I'm like, that was too much. It was like, I don't know. She could have kept her own idol and then just played it on herself or whatever. And by herself not voting for Marlon, everyone else knew the plan already, you know? Like, she was just trying to like use her last week with this idol to use it somehow. And I like saw through all of it. I like, as soon as she stepped up, I was like, oh, so it's not after 2 votes, is it? And the second she passed her idol to or her individual immunity to Marlon, I was like, she would never do that if she didn't have an idol. So I know I can't even vote for Anissa. I think Hallie ended up voting for Anissa. I was like, I can't even do that because then she'll win again and my vote will be null the last tribal I'm here. So I threw a random vote to Hallie, you know. And so, yeah, I thought that was an interesting move, but the editing, in my opinion, from my perspective, makes it seem like a way bigger move than it actually was. I think that I was going home this entire episode, I was going home, you know?
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting move because it kind of reminded me of the inverse of like what happened in Cambodia with Jeremy and Fishback. It's like, why give your necklace up when you could just play an idol for somebody else? I mean, you're achieving the same thing, but I feel like it's a little more meaningful to play your idol on somebody, especially after Anissa's like, we know, like Marlon didn't know that he was the backup.
Right.
And it's kind of embarrassing that he didn't know that. And so I was kind of like, is this kind of a way to be like, hey, sorry. But then it's also like, that was kind of me, but also sorry.
And I'm interested to see Marlon's reaction to that.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see that too.
In my mind, that should be severing. Like, you like work with whoever you can to get, like, I don't know.
Right.
It was also very smart because Anissa was the one who handed it to him.
Yeah.
Now he's about to be loyal to her till the end of time.
Exactly. So it's like jewelry, right?
Right. But yeah, you're right. It would have been cooler if she just kept it on herself, and then
like, I think she won that necklace, you know?
Right. She wanted the personal, like the like fanfare of being like, oh, you guys voted for me, fuck off, like not going home.
It's like a double fanfare that almost was kind of like, I mean, it was cool to see. It was the first actual idol play all season.
Right. Yes.
Which is funny when you think of that. There was your idol / Anna's idol that didn't get played. There was Anissa's idol that never got activated. There was Brady's idol that never got activated. So this is really interesting.
And Swetha.
And Swetha's idol. It's like, and it's just like it only canceled 1 vote. So it's kind of funny to see. I love it when like idols are a source of paranoia, but they don't really do anything. And so it was really cool to see how they all like navigated that.
Yeah.
And we didn't really touch on it too much, but then like you give Anna the idol and just like, just in case I go home or just in case I don't go home, I want you to hold it. And I was just like, what? What?
Don't do that.
That was another like move that like had a lot more like harebrained thought behind it than was shown, but it was harebrained thought, which is why it didn't make the edit. So like, it was thought where we were like, no. Okay, so if I stand up and act like I'm going to play it on myself, I'm going to look at all of them in the eyes and I'll know right then if they voted for me. And then, so once I had that assurance that they didn't vote for me, I was like, oh, okay, I can hand this off to Anna, because I was like, I can't just stand up, look around and then be like, no, I'm not going to play it. That would look even fishier. And so I used that opportunity to hand to Anna, who I knew at this point would give it back to me if I asked her. And I still believe that to this day. So
and then she was at that time trying to kind of distance herself from you to Anissa.
Right.
And that is where you kind of like screwed her over there. It's like it's such a layer. It felt like that big brain meme. You know, it was like you were like the big brain. You were making a big brain move there. And it's like there are just things that were out of your control that didn't really let it work.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, entertaining as hell.
That was I will say one of the most fun parts of the season was the stint where Anna and I were like, what can we do to like wriggle our way into the next week with this one idol that we have?
It's like,
and like playing exactly. And having her like act like, I don't know, it was just so gratifying to watch her be like, Zach's pissing me off, and then Anissa being like, oh yeah, like he pisses me off too. It was so gratifying to watch that. I was like, you're tricked. Obviously not by the end, because I handed the idol back to her. But after that episode, we were like, okay, how do we come back from this? Or in my mind, if Anna didn't go home that episode. So for the next week, we were like, how do we make it seem like we're still not together or whatever, and that you, Anna, are still a free agent? And we were going to try to convince them all that like I handed it to her crazily, and like that came out of nowhere, and then also have Anna to Anissa and Big H be like, also, I'm not giving him his idol back. He asked for it back, but I'm not giving it back. And then I think that would have gotten them on her side, because they would have been like, ooh, you're not giving it, like, let's get him out. Let's get him out. But it didn't end up working.
Yeah, it's so fun and like I've been there. It's like when you're on the bottom, you're just like, okay, what crazy shit are we gonna pull?
Right.
And that's sometimes like the most fun I had was just sitting with my allies and being, what can we do? And just like spitballing it out there. And then you find the idea was like, that could actually work.
Yeah.
And that it may or may not work. But it's like so fun. You were this close.
Anna said in the chat.
Like, to y'all's credit, you were playing it.
Sean said, I haven't heard any of this discussion. But
oh my god.
Can we hear Zach say harebrained again?
Harebrained.
We'll get it on the soundboard. So I do think that right, we should. I think the Anissa move is interesting when you think about it. Like, what does it reveal information-wise? By her letting votes come to her, she can potentially reveal if anyone would have turned on her. But I think she would have learned more if she did let people vote for Marlon and see if there was actually a plan in place. Because you'd never really know if there's a counter plan in place until the votes come in. And if she was planning on saving them anyway and knew they wouldn't vote for her, she could have learned something there. Instead, she really strong-armed the situation, which was, interesting to watch.
Right, that's true. And it's interesting that I'm not going to add anything. It's interesting that, never mind.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. Okay, we don't want to get into spoiler territory, but let's talk about what's coming up soon. So this Thursday, there is no episode of Survivor Boston, because next week on Thursday, the February 11th, will be the finale. Right? I'm right on this. Will be the finale of Survivor Boston, which is so exciting. We're almost at the end of this. So, as always on Tuesdays, Live Reality Games does a podcast covering Survivor Boston. Since there's no new episode this week, Dustin, Austin, and I are going to reconvene and do a full season recap and talk about our finale predictions. We will, of course, also talk about our wonderful preseason predictions, and let me hold them up here. They're not looking so hot on my part. No tea there. Austin's picks are looking strong still. He's got Anna and Marlon in the final three.
Yeah, I can still get Marlon in third place. So let's go, Marlon, get me some points.
And Zach, I do feel like I need to apologize for one thing. And, Anna said, Isabella, I literally love you. Zach deserves to be stuck up for. And in response to that, I will say, Zach, I'm sorry I put you as third boot in my predictions. You are much better than a third boot. No offense to people who are third boots, but no, you surpassed my expectations. You reeled in your chaotic energy, and I think you showed yourself to be a more measured player than what we thought. When that
And just remember, Nathan
what I
put
thought.
Max Tedford as his number one.
There you go.
Okay.
I mean,
oh,
like,
gosh.
it was so interesting, the confessional you had where it's like, you kind of had like a Spencer moment where you're like, emotions exist? I mean,
Yeah.
like these people, and I'm just like, and that's what for me, I was like the opposite. I was like, I was coming into it thinking I was gonna like you, it was like I'm a super fan. I know what I'm doing. No one else is gonna know what they're doing. But then I'm like you said in your exit like words, I was like, I played a so much more loyal game than I ever thought I was going to. And so it's such a cool emotional like paranoia relationship sort of thing. So my question for you is like, how do you think this, like, what's kind of your biggest like takeaway from your experience?
Oh my god, I just saw the comment, Rachel. Wait, what about romance? Iconic. I love that.
Yeah.
But wrapping up my thoughts on Survivor, I think I was tripped. Anna actually was texting me that her friends were like comparing my game to Spencer, and I think that's so true. Like we both did not. No, not Spencer Wright, Isabella.
Oh, thank God.
Spencer from
I was like, how am I not seeing this?
Spencer's from Kageon.
Right.
What? Okay. Yes.
Survivor Kageon. Yeah.
Real Survivor.
For sure.
But like, I think I watched the show so much that I was always like counting and being like, oh, that was a dumb move because they're gonna do that and they're gonna do that. Like I was so used to that when I was put into a player's body in this game, I was like, I was not accurately gauging people as well as I think I even would outside of the game. You know, I think I started to forget that emotions existed, forget that like people have intuition that aren't me. Like you can't just lie to people without them sniffing something. And so yeah, I just love Survivor Boston specifically, like a college Survivor is just so interesting because you have the dynamics of like you have to exist with these people like before and after this game is played, and also you have to make sure that during the game, like I don't know, you keep the game segmented because like it can easily bleed into other areas and like just make you feel crazy. So I think I definitely learned a lot. I think I learned more watching, even more watching the show back. And I just had such a fun time. It was such a fun show. It's like hard to watch back at parts, especially when it ended the way my run did, but it is such a good show. This is such a good season. Like I'm pumped for this final five. Like it is a really interesting final five with like some entertaining stuff. And from what I remember from Final Tribal, like y'all are not going to be disappointed.
Yeah, like
can't wait.
I'm so happy we have both of you on here because season 2 and season 4, I will contend, are my two favorite college Survivor seasons ever.
That's
like,
so
sorry to the Maryland All-Stars stands, the Michigan fans, but like Survivor Boston, you guys do something right. You guys have incredible casts, fun gameplay, great twists, and just getting to watch both of you play and getting to talk to both of you is so fun. So,
thank you.
That was so sweet, Austin. So fun to talk to you guys.
I'm going to reserve my final comments until next week's episode before the finale. But Zach, I do have one last question for you. You had a lot of confessionals that were in interesting locations from what we could see. Some that looked like back alleyways. Where were you filming some of these things? Like you had like chain link fences behind you or something. Like, are you okay?
I'm good. I was always trying to find like a little corner, because I was so paranoid. Because actually, this is other tea. One of my friends once overheard two people in this game, in this season, talking, and specifically they said my name. So I had her record their entire conversation for me. It was a conversation between Marlon and Anna that ended up being so like didn't matter that they didn't even hear it. But like I remember that happening and being like, no,
Yeah.
I cannot even speak out loud
Yes.
on campus.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
everyone is a bug at Emerson. Like
Let
me
everyone
just
knows.
Say
Yeah, I mean,
literally that happened to me, where a girl I wasn't even friends with, who was in my speech class, knew that I was playing the game and was like, "Oh my God, Isabella, I literally heard these two people in Survivor Boston. Like, I recorded them for you," and like sent me the voice recording of two people talking. Not to mention, there are so many fun little cheating things that happened in this game that are never shown in editing. So I'll tell you a little secret from my season, not to
oh boy.
what.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, I don't know if Jacob or Charlie want me to share, but I don't really care. Sorry, boys. But my season, when we did that challenge where we had to like write down who you think is most likely to think they're running the game, etc., all that stuff. After that challenge, they threw out all of our handwritten results in the recycling bin. And me and Spencer concocted a plan. And I was like, Spencer,
That's smart.
Jacob. And I went back in and stole all the answers, and we ran upstairs and we read them all.
That is stupid. I mean, so I have my own
That's
funny
great.
story. I don't know if I've told Nathan this, but so same challenge. But my season, I was like, okay, I know this is going to come up because it usually comes up. So I'm going to go back, compile every single time a college survivor has done this, compile all the answers, try to get my allies together, and we're going to all put down the same answer for everything. That ended up not working out because I couldn't get anyone else on board with it. But I love that challenge because you can figure out a way to game the system, whether it's rummaging through the trash or like any harebrained, to use the term of the day, scheme, and it's so funny. So
yeah, Big Brother stopped using that challenge because you could game it at a certain point.
Right.
Isabella, do you have any final thoughts about this season in general?
I'm heartbroken that almost every single one of my friends has been voted off of this season. I'm deeply disturbed and I don't understand it. I think all of my friends played a great game. I was sad to see them go. Everyone this season seems really like playing it hard. It's exciting. You guys should watch. Absolutely. You should watch my season as well, season 2. But heartbreaking to watch Zach to be voted out. Absolutely. It was really hard for me to watch. I did start angry crying when it happened. It's sick. They don't treat my friend with the respect he deserves.
Yeah. Kyle says, Survivor Legends right here.
Hi, Kyle. This is crazy. This is like an alumni mixer. Hi. I miss Emerson. Rachel's disturbed too. Me and you both, Rachel. Me and you both.
Oh.
Yeah, F.
Austin, do you have any final thoughts? I mean, besides all the sappy shit I said, not really. I'm really excited for the finale. I've been saying this every week this season. It's been incredible. It's been such a treat to watch it. Thank you guys both for coming out. Thank you for being a part of Survivor Boston and giving me so much fun to look forward to. And yeah, I think it's just going to be so cool to see how this ends. And I'm sad that it's going to be over because this has just been such a highlight of these crazy, crazy, crazy times. And I just can't wait to see what's on the horizon. Hope both of you have a return season at some point. That's in the cards. So
yeah, Zach, would you ever play again or another live reality game?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, okay.
He
says that interestingly.
Yeah.
Is that there's already plans in the work. Okay. Isabella, do you have any live reality games in your future?
Let me tell you, the only live reality I will do in the it's funny that you mentioned the penthouse because I almost applied to that. But no, this ruins my life. I will only ever go on like real Big Brother, real Survivor. Once I'm getting paid and famous, then I'll go. I don't want my sanity unless I'm gaining a fame from it.
Can't blame you there.
Yeah.
Andrew says The Voice.
Yes, I'm going on The Voice.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Zach. It's been a blast. Isabella, you've been a class act here. Thanks for calling me out on my shit. I'm happy to own it.
Oh my God. Thank you, Nathan, for taking it so well.
Oh, you're so welcome.
Thank you guys for doing this every week and
Yeah.
like strategizing about this game. It's so fun. It makes like
Yes.
because it feels so real to like rewatch it and everything. So this just like makes it adds such a fun element to the show, I think. So thank you guys for doing this.
Yeah,
you're
thank you
welcome.
for being so sweet and fun to talk to.
It's been a blast. And
Of
if you
course.
want to learn, first of all, if you want to get cast for some live reality games, you can go to the Live Reality Games Facebook page and see their casting info for upcoming games. And
Right.
until next week at 9:30 Eastern, we will do our finale, pre-finale recap of the season, finale predictions with Austin, Dustin, and I, the original trio of this podcast, and maybe some special guests as well. We will have to see what's in store. I don't really make the plans, so really, we'll see. I don't even know what's going to happen.
I don't know either. I'm excited.
Okay, until next time, check us out, subscribe, and can't wait to see you again.